Thank you, Nitin and Professor Mahindra, to introduce me on this platform. Our topic is calligraphic analysis of Jain manuscripts. Uh, in this topic, I'm going to cover what is about the Jain manuscript, why they are so special, and how they look, what are the characteristics of Jain manuscripts, how they evolve, what are the unique features that one must learn from them, and overall the calligraphy and the letter design, so on and so forth. Most of us know that Jainism is one of the oldest religions in India. Philosophical teaching of Jainism is transmitted from written text to next generation. This written text is mainly popular in India. It is written in Indian subcontinent. This written manuscripts is very visual and very colorful text layout it has. It is written by person or a scribe called Lahiya along with the author. If you see, most of the Jain manuscripts are in the horizontal format and colorful, beautifully colorful illustrations with red borders around it. Initially, palm leaf manuscript, they were written on palm leaf manuscript and till 13th century around. Later on, they are on paper manuscript. In our study, we are mainly focuses on textual characteristic of these manuscripts. As a study, we have taken a Kalpasutra manuscript, which is written around 15th century. This section is on Lord Mahavira and teaching of and life story of Lord Mahavir. This particular manuscript is like it has around 96 pages, out of which 1 to 16 are missing. So we have almost like 96 pages to work on. It is quite necessary, before we land upon calligraphy directly, it is really necessary to understand its overall visual appearance. These manuscript, the layout of the manuscript is horizontal, the orientation of the paper in landscape format. If you see the column 1 and column 2, the texts are written in column 1 and 2. It is divided by a space. The illustration area divides these two columns into 3 columns. Folio numbers are written in right hand margin. The 5 mm border sort of give identity to the column sizes. In this layout, if you see, the text block looks very dark, the texture, around 6 lines per column. These columns are divided into 4 units. In between space is 1 unit, and the ratio is 4:1 and 4. Total text block proportion is 27 centimeter, and the height of the text block is 5.6. If you see the text block and height of, if you see the width and height of the text block is proportion to the horizontal page size. So the ratio is 4:1. Not just a one text size, but there are 2 text sizes available in this particular manuscript. On the left hand side, the side notes, which is called as a Shushma Jaini, and in the center, which is main text, and we are primarily focused in our study upon the main text of Jain manuscript. Let's go and see how the texture of the manuscript look like. If you observe, all the lines are stacked together. The line gap between the spacing between 2 lines is around, if you consider 1 unit, and the line is exactly double of the space. You must have wondered like why this proportion is 1:2. So on our study, we found out one of the interesting thing that how the tool inspires the format of the text. Oreo is a tool which is used in this process. This is a wooden plank. On top of wooden plank, the threads are attached in a parallel manner. Paper is kept on this grid and used to, and ruler is moved along with it. So this is the grid making tool that they specifically use in while making the Jain manuscript. Proportions are equal, so all the parallel lines are 1 unit, say suppose. This grid makes the text more compact. As you see here, these are the gray lines which are from Oreo. The text, the letters are fixed into two lines, which is this one from here. The red lines is like a text height, and in between space is left. So interline space, if we take is x, then the 2x is the height of the letter. If we calculate in terms of calligraphy nibs, it is around 6 to 7 nibs. Basically, it is a 6 nib width height. The 7th is counted as the overshoot, which is like a terminal which goes like in thin parts. If you observe here, all of this thin parts considered into below baseline. Another interesting feature, two matra style. Matra style from line 1 and the matra line is from lower lines. In matra, in first line, if you see the matra is like a, from, it take it like from inside and then go like this. It is more flared and decorative than the lower matras. Generally, this call is taken as the space in the margin is open, so Lehya must have used it to take a decorative call. We find two matra proportion. Matra proportion 1, which is matra style. In this matra style, the proportion is 6 nib width is the basic height, and 4 for the matras from first line. And that's why we get like 0.6 is to 1 is to 0 proportion. Yeah, you see here is the 0, 1. Even in the matra style too, the proportion is 6 as a base height, but here for the above matra, proportion changes, it goes to 2 lines. So all the lower lines are mostly of this type. So overall texture of the manuscript is quite dark and dense. This texture is not just because of this Oreo and the line spacing proportions. It is also because of the Tajia Boru, which is used to write the letter forms. This Boru gives, it's like a little softer where if you chisel it, but it gives a good solid tip while writing. In contemporary, we use metal nib and chisel marker, wherein, so we practice actually, we wanted to check what is exactly the contrast that we have received from this manuscript. So the stroke contrast with the 3 different tools. Here, the metal tool gives slightly extreme like high contrast, where the Boru gives sort of medium contrast in thick and thin. The medium, if you compare this terminal, thinner ones, and this is medium, this is quite thick part and thin part is quite equal to each other. So we found it like if you write this manuscript or Jain style with Boru, it gives you a nice texture for the text. So this another feature of Jain manuscript is this Shirorekha and Kana. It is written in a one stroke, so it like goes straight. So this angular 90-degree gets created here. Another example is more of, you lift up the pen here. So what the Leia used to do is take this horizontal line, which is Shirorekha, and then the vertical line, Kana, is just put next to it. That is why you get like a three terminals. So horizontal terminals are two, and the vertical terminal is this and this. So you get one, two, and three. This is quite peculiar about Jain manuscripts. Then there are types of horizontal terminals. We see here different in how they have taken it. The methods are different. There are three different types. Let's see how it goes. So, gonna take some time. It's very simple one where the terminals are equal, same as the pen cut. It goes like back and then forward and ends up like this. The third, just look at it, observe this, how it goes. It kind of creates a wedge there. Yeah, so this horizontal terminals is the main characteristic of Jain style. What happens when there is danda in the center, danda, which I mean this center position. Yeah, so the curve straight, and then observe this empty space, and in this stroke, how it goes. Horizontal, cover this blank space, just filled up with this knot. So it is sort of they balances the character. As we seen all the horizontal terminals, let's go on the vertical terminals. Again, there are four types of vertical terminals. First is sort of pretty simple. In the second one, Leia just swerves the terminal little. Third one, it's almost thinning towards the end. In the fourth one, it's more curvy. I have something for you. Yeah, the first one is pretty simple, curving it, thinning it out, then again a loop curve. What's this one? This lower curves are mixed together with the vertical line. Similarly, in wo and year, the same treatment is achieved. This is quite interesting, that how they mix up the danda and the curvature. Leia's, yeah. Right? Okay. Because of this horizontal and vertical lines, you get a good rhythm in overall text. The text looks very harmonious. Even the spacing between the letters is very sensitive enough to look at. Within this text, uh, we just focused on micro our interest into particular with particular characters in the text. For example, we just specify one letter and see that how what are the variety in those letters, how they must have written it. So in this sample, there are three different types of word that we have found. So the treatment of this curvatures are quite different. They are as, so in the first option, it goes more smoother and like a squarish. The second one is like little mechanical, which is horizontal, then vertical, and then goes up. In the third one is quite interesting, where it goes, it starts with angle, then N, then the vertical, and then it goes up. So it sort of give nice squarish look, which matches very well with the vertical and horizontal. As we see in vertical terminals, then curvature, the knot is a specific characteristic that we have in Devanagari. It is treated very differently in letters like G, R, N, and E. Let's see how they must have treated. In G, the knot is very simple. It goes, yep, straight and turns up and creates a blob there. Yeah, in R, yeah, the row is very interesting. Look carefully how it is done. Straight, and its hand is just tweaked and created the blob. In the na is again a simple one, which goes straight, curves, and horizontal. There are two knots, which is E knot and the no dot. They are quite simple, and we see even in today's Devanagari Barbud style these sort of the knots. You must have used it for Devanagari, this one for Devanagari Barbud. Yeah. So far, we have focused on this. What are the typical characteristic? Uh, it is also interesting to look at how the letters are treated in Jain style. If you see ru, and ru is different than today's Barbodi. Look at O, and which is we use quite hardly even in the text, but it is good to understand their features. In Ch, Jo is quite common. It is distinctly different in Jain style. If you see Ch, it's almost look like it is that it is wo. Even the character Z is completely different. Da, Bhara is the next series where this is very similar with Marwadi Da, so called, but the Bh and R is quite different. Th, Na, Sh, Sa, unlike those previous letters, in this Barbod Devanagari, you can see some similarities. If you observe this and the loop here, No is straight, vertical, and just a slight changes here in the shapes. The Sh is Devanagari Sh, which is mostly used in Marathi, is Sharetsa Sh. If you see, this Danda, Alpadanda is achieved in this stroke. And the Sh is quite similar again with the guard and the bottom portion. To summarize my talk, I would like to just mention these are some points which we observe, which is flared Matra style, Prushna Matri Devanagari, wet style terminal, uh, darker knots, then stack U Matra. We have seen that it is up. Matra proportion 1, Matra proportion 2 from the lower lines, darker texture in the text, thin vertical terminal that you get it here, and the curvature style. So stacked Ukar Matra is also one of the feature where the Ukar Matra is just lift up and written. So how does this study help us is sort of question we have it in my mind. What is to do with this study? How it is implemented? In our research, we try, it is just a beginning of our research, and we have tried to see is there any work which has been done on the basis of this manuscript. I will show you 3 examples of the work which is inspired by Jain calligraphy. Here we have a first one, which is Jaini typeface, is designed by Girish Davi and Yashodip Ghola. Here they have achieved overall texture of the Jain manuscript in a font. If you see the leading, the darker text, lower small matras, and thin terminals, There's another calligrapher who is Shubhanand Zog. In his style, he has adapted that visual features and he tried to modify it and made his own style. Uh, Different calligraphy, yeah, so you can see the thin terminals, then this curvature, it's exactly similar to the Jain style. Even in this style, the proportion is treated as if it's a Jain, but it gives a different look to the Devanagari. Even he continued with the top line. Similar style achieved by the same calligrapher, Satyameva Jayate. You can see the terminals, how it has been treated. This thin and curvature. This is more of an exaggerated manner of Jain style. The last example, I'll show my work, which I've I've done the modification in Devanagari calligraphy, and this modification is made by keeping in mind that this to achieve the overall essence from the Jain manuscript, but not just copying the feature of it. On the basis of the calligraphy style, the font called Lehia is developed. This is a text typeface where you could see the squarishness of Jain style. The Ghat styles are quite similar and it's inspired from Jain manuscript. This of our study has happened and we are just in the beginning of our research. We hope that students and many other designers and calligraphers will get inspired by the work which is done in our culture, and hope to see all such good work coming up. I would like to summarize my talk by saying thank you to these people, Mr. Mahindra Bai from Jain Shruta Mandir, who has really helped me to share the information about Jain manuscript. I would like to thank Professor Ravi sir and my all DSOS team members, my colleagues for their constant support, my teacher Girish Darvi and Professor Santosh Shirsagar, my friends, they are always with me, Nupur Date, Yashadeep, Ruchi, Snehal, Sunny, and all Akshara team. I would like to thank IDC Library and IIT Library who was like to support me for my to giving me resources, and thank you Taipudi. I hope you will get inspired with such styles and come up with your own work.